You start that again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah.
I've made a steam vessel, a model of a Thames River launch,
Okay.
a large steam,
Yeah.
called the Leopard. We
Yeah.
might wander over and have a look
Yeah,
at it.
let's have a look. Yeah, I'm Tristan, and just with the Shipwright show in Canberra, and yeah, we're just going to have a quick look. So, what was your name? Is it Bill?
I'm probably yes, Bill Atkinson.
Bill Atkinson. Okay, nice to meet you, Bill.
This is our model here. It's a large steam launch. It's a 1:15 scale of a Thames River launch, based on a fiberglass hull, which I modified slightly to improve the lines of. It's a fully steam-powered model,
Right.
made out of with mahogany and birch.
Yes, it's gorgeous. Wow.
Got a steam boiler, which operates a small oscillating twin-cylinder engine, which is controlled by remote control for all the gubbins and action in the back corner for the rudder and for controlling the steam valve on the engine. Being a twin-cylinder oscillating engine, it can easily be controlled forwards and backwards, and also can regulate the speed. So the speed and direction can be done on one channel, and of course the rudder control on the second channel. The boiler is a copper boiler with filling plug here, a safety valve on the back, and a steam pressure valve with a siphon for capturing any moisture, so the gauge doesn't get damaged. The steam outlet is through a steam pressure regulator valve, which then runs into the engine and operates it either forward or reverse. Being an oscillating twin cylinder, it will start in any position. So that is good to know when you're out in the middle of the river.
Yeah, absolutely.
The timber was laid and striated all along
That's a beautiful job. Yeah.
And
how long did that take you?
Some months.
And how long did the kit take you?
Well, it wasn't a kit. It's all scratch built.
All scratch built. Everything.
I milled the timber myself down to the thicknesses I need and laminated it. The hardest part was laminating on the inside to match the curve both directions, but it worked out. And I followed the theme through onto the table where Sir and Madam take the airs, and little teacups, slightly out of scale teacups, take pride of place. The gas tank sits up under here for fueling the boiler.
Right.
As you can see, the pipe comes in from underneath and runs along to a small gas tank with a controller there. It's just a simple two-channel operation, as I say. Runs at about 30 psi.
All right. Okay.
And I'm a great believer. I've purchased a commercial safety valve.
Right.
Sometimes, if you're making your own, it's a little bit hard to get the setting exactly right.
Yeah.
So I thought it was safer to operate on that principle. Small coal box, and of course the inevitable cupboard for the tools and everything else is there. Usually, Sir, Madam, and whoever else took the airs on the promenade, and the bosun or the ship's master sat down the back, steering from the side, and being told, well, very much keeping out of the way of the people whom he's driving.
Yeah.
But it's just a simple steam vessel. I like model steam. I think it's a wonderful propulsion system, and there's an honesty about model steam which I enjoy. It's a little bit different to just turning a switch on and off with an electric boat, which I do have. The next one along here, the Lady Devlin, is an electric boat, and it's a model of a Hawkesbury riverboat trader from the 1920s. The interesting part of this one is that all the fruits of these sort of cars, these sort of boats, were hand-laded onto the boat. And what they would do is the crops were growing in and around Camden, Richmond, and Penrith area. They were loaded onto these fairly shallow draft boats, and they were floated from Richmond, the 45 kilometres or so along the Hawkesbury River, to Brooklyn, up on the head of the Hawkesbury. And it was from there, all the produce was hand loaded onto a train, which was then taken straight down to Sydney, to the Sydney fruit markets. and it's a real workhorse boat. One of the things that used to happen, of course, is the level of the Hawkesbury River varied very much, and there are a number of bridges there. And when the water was high, they couldn't get through. So these conning towers were made to lower into the vessel so they could get underneath the bridges. They used to be residential, and
really?
that section is accommodation for a crew of usually about 6. But they usually ran 3, and it was known that a couple of the boats were actually single-handed driven from Penrith down to the Brooklyn turnaround. But it's
and this is all scratch built as well?
This is a completely scratch built model as well. The only thing I bought on this one was the hull. But yes, it's just an example of a boat that is never talked about. It's just a Hawkesbury riverboat trader, named after a very good friend of mine whose family grew up in Richmond and who's came across a photo of this book in her family research. And when she saw the boat, she commented, "Geez, that looks like a such and such boat." And so I did a little bit more research and thought that'd be fun to build. The melons were more therapeutic than fun. But they were all handmade, rolled, and mounted into the vessel. But it was a lot of fun to build. But yes, that's my experience of modelling a riverboat trader, and my attempt of a steam launch, of a Thames River steam launch. This sort of steam launch is at the Lake Windermere Steam Museum in England. There's a big Windermere Museum, beautiful, beautiful building, and they have a collection of full-size working steam launches of all sorts of shapes and sizes. And there's a National Heritage Centre, and anybody interested in steam launches should just Google the Windermere Steam Centre and have a look at the museum, their launches, and they take them out, and it's a delight to see them. The lines of a steam launch on the water is absolutely beautiful. It's different to an electric boat. Now, I can't tell you why, but they just look different. And there's a sense of honesty about them, which I find an enjoyment. But thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Absolutely honoured to be able to show this to everyone, and certainly, fantastic topics. Are you working on anything currently?
I am. I'm working on a 42-inch long steam tug made in the 1920s. It's again live steam, twin cylinder vertical engine with Hackworth reversing mechanism. So it will have a number of channels that far more than what I usually use. For this one it was a 2-channel, but I'll need about 6 or 7 channels on this other one to operate the reversing, the steering, the pressure controls, the clutch of the steam engine, all sorts of different controls. And it's all, for me, the fun is inventing and designing what I'm trying to make and seeing if it works. I'm up to about design 412 of a steam clutch, but I'm getting there.
Certainly very involved.
And it's very involved. It's a different style, and you've got to work within safety regulations too. There are regs that you can't breach, certain things have to be pressure tested, etc., etc. So you just got to be a little bit careful. But it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
and
sounds
it's
like
the honesty in steam that isn't in an electric.
And this is, very clean, beautiful work. Thank you very much for your time, Bill.
A pleasure.
And
pleasure to share it.
Yeah, we'll put this up online for people to see.
Thanks very much.